Simone,
Yes.
you proudly and rather cheekily describe this part of the exhibition as the money shot.
I did. Yes.
Explain.
Oh, look, I think, if an image could say a million things, this installation, when we can take in, it's the scope of it, there is so much encoded information. There is so much, not just creativity, but so much passion invested in the accumulation of all of these projects. So when I mean the money shot, I mean, isn't it extraordinary that you can capture in one image just so much passion, investment, I guess ingenuity in one image, and so I guess that's why I called it the money shot. 7 metres high, 13 metres wide. It was in Melbourne Now 2013 when I was brought on board as a guest curator to curate the product design and furniture design component of Melbourne Now, and so we did a design wall, and it was in this very gallery, and it was on the far wall, and it was 21 product designs, all authored by various industrial design studios here in Melbourne. And it included power tools, eskies, keep cups, tram handles, and to our absolute delight, people just loved it. I think they loved the transgressive nature that they could come into the NGV and they could see a broom or a drill on the wall or a tram handle. But what was the power of that? The power of that installation was it really was encouraging people to think about applied creativity. So, conversations we have about creativity in these great, organisations, these great galleries, can often be fairly one-dimensional, and it gave us an opportunity to talk about, I guess creativity in view of thinking about how do you solve problems, but also deliver the objects that we live with and we work with, we rely on for everyday life. The essence of it is really trying to understand how Melbourne informs the products we're designing, but in turn, how do the products we're designing inform Melbourne? So it's really interested in this notion of how products can be embedded with a sense of a place, but also the values of the people that live in the place. And so these 35 projects all have a sensational story in which they talk about their mere existence is because of either the cultural capital, the social capital, the economic forces, the marketplace, the skills networks, the expertise we have here, but even our environment and the cultures that we have here. So hence, whether it be, who would have thought that, three brothers in the 1990s who were mad keen skaters would found one of the world's greatest skateboard companies, land surf companies. I just think when we talk about product or we talk about consumer product design, these are projects that don't all end up in cupboards and wardrobes and drawers. The reality is that the shoes that we wear, the devices we carry, the glasses we wear, these are all consumer products, because really what defines this design is that it needs to be delivered in not just ones and dozens, but it's about delivering in volume. So it's hundreds, thousands and millions. But out of the 35 projects, 25 are manufactured in Melbourne. And so, it's a really good news story off the back of, I guess, a decade of this perception that manufacturing in Victoria has bottomed out. I mean, really, it's changed, it's transformed, and a lot of that capacity has ended up, I guess, in informing design, certainly, but not in ways that we would have recognised it a decade ago. Pillows. Well, all of these pillows are by a company that many people may be familiar with. It's Tontine. Okay. Now, Tontine produce about 4 million pillows a year, and that's aside for all the quilts that they produce and all the Manchester. They are arguably one of Australia's greatest pillow manufacturer, and if not, they're up there globally. The interesting story that we have here, when you are producing an item, which might appear to be kind of really humble and banal, but when you're producing an item like this in millions and millions and millions, that effect on, I guess, the consumption or the use of resources and materials is vast. So Tontine, over the past decade and a half, have been trying to transform their operation to use more sustainable and kinder processes and materials.
So in essence, this installation
Yes.
is a celebration of the design of mass-produced consumer products with a focus on stuff that's been designed in Melbourne and manufactured in
No,
Melbourne.
definitely. I would even go so far as to say it's a celebration of applied creativity. Okay, so applied creativity in a sense that, yes, the ideas, the thinking, the passion, you know, all ends up in products that we all live with. But what makes these projects so extraordinary is that if you are going to produce any product in thousands, if not millions, it has to be something that is so incredibly resilient and robust on the market. And so what we're also looking at is a great celebration of entrepreneurial, I guess, spirit, but also business activity here in Victoria.